some questions. Let me know what you got.
All right. What you got, Greg?
All right. So which one's first? Now you guys have been wanting to talk, so don't be shy. Okay. Notice they got the P for P merch on there.
I
so
see that. I see
You
that.
have to watch them, and the other one has one, but for some reason he wants to wear the Adidas hat all the time. So
I forgot to put it on. I forgot.
you better go get the merch on, man. You're killing me over here. So
Go grab it for me,
all
Mama.
right. All right, y'all jump in there and ask this guy some questions. He has some stuff to do. So
Actually, I had a question about the house channel. How do you send in a video?
Nope.
Whoops, sorry.
Get them off.
All right, got you now. Are you on there?
Hello?
Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
All right. I wanted to ask about the house channel. Like, how do you send a video in for a review?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're actually not doing that anymore, but you can send it to individual people. And
So, like, I could DM you or something like that?
Yeah, and we can work on it that way. It just kind of got to a point where it wasn't kind of feasible for all of us to be doing it once we started traveling and everything. So, yeah, if you want to just DM me a video or something like that, you can take a look at it for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll do that. DM him right now. Did you bowl in college, Chris?
I did. I attended Notre Dame College, which is on the east side of Cleveland here in Ohio. I went there from 2010 to 2015, actually. I graduated in 2014, but I stayed and went to school for an additional year to be able to take my CPA exam, which is a certified personal accountant. So if I ever need to fall back on, a full-time job, I have an accounting degree. And if I need to, if I want to kind of take that to the next level, that would be when I would start studying for the CPA exam. But yeah, during that year, while I was going to school and not bowling, I was actually the coach for the team. So bowled for 4 years for them, and then I coached for the 5th year.
Nice. How'd you pick Notre Dame?
Well, I was not very heavily recruited out of high school. I didn't really, I really started bowling again my freshman year, and I just bowled Saturday morning league, and then I bowled high school. But up until like junior year of high school, I didn't really bowl competitively or bowl tournaments. And then I started to bowl a bit more junior into senior year. And then, like I said, it wasn't really, known on the national level by any means. And just had a family friend that coached, that was basically starting a program at Notre Dame. And he was a good coach, a good guy, and recruited me to be on the team. And, I fell in love with the other teammates that were on the team and the school in general. So it ended up being a really good fit for me.
Okay. You know, Greg? Yeah, I was going to ask. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Dalton, jump in there, Dalton. I know you got a couple of questions.
So, like, just someone who's just a normal guy on tour who's not really making TV and stuff like that, can you still make a decent living?
It depends, man. It depends. That's kind of partly why we started the house. Just because, like, we always roomed together, to save cost, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And obviously with Brad and Kyle having their YouTube channel, the vlogs were doing really well, and we just thought we'd kind of expand on it and do more stuff like this. I mean, basically we're giving back to the community and trying to broaden bowling. I mean, like what we know about bowling, we want to, expand it to the younger generation, where we know there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet, and we're trying to eliminate that as much as possible. And not saying that we know everything by any means, but I feel with our experiences in bowling and the things that we've been through, I think we have kind of figured out for the most part what works and what doesn't. Now, obviously doing those things is a very different story, but we can at least get people going on the right path.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I had another question
That's
about.
kind of a long-winded way
Yeah.
of saying not so much. Yeah, it's not the most, glorious lifestyle if you're not really making shows or anything like that. But the PBA is doing very well. Bolero is doing very well. They're bringing in sponsorships. They're obviously you're seeing prize funds now that, $1 million prize fund for the TOC or the players that we just bowled. And then, some big major tournaments coming up. So they're doing well. I think everything is headed in the right direction, but you really don't know. But they're getting some big sponsorship. So hopefully in the future, like you guys' generation going out on tour, hopefully it's a little easier.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, how do would you say the TV pairs break down compared to like the rest of the week?
Yeah, man, they're not even close. They don't even start really close. Just everything is so different. Like the blue oil makes it play different.
Yeah.
They're constantly rerunning the lanes because we get practice up prior to the TV show.
Right.
So the lanes are typically warmer. Then you got the TV lights, you got the production crew, you got a lot of people crammed into a really small space. Yeah, they really don't play anything similar to what they do during the week. So transition's different. Usually the fronts hook a little bit more just because of all the heat. So which makes it seem like they're a little tighter down lane. And yeah, it's almost like a completely different tournament, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if it's completely different, how do you prepare for that? If it's completely different from what?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I think it's more, you have to be mentally prepared for it because you have to be open for anything. I mean, because like I said, it could be close. It could be so far different that you're throwing completely different bowling balls in different parts of the lane. Yeah, you kind of just have to go in open-minded. You get practice sessions, so it's not like you just have to start the game blindfolded and hopefully you guess correctly. Yeah, you just got to be open to suggestions. You got to be open to trying different things and taking chances, honestly. I mean, I actually had the playoff show where I bowled Marshall. I was pretty much convinced that I was going to throw urethane for the whole time. It looked by far the best in practice. Really had no option of throwing anything else. And I get over to the TV pair. We both get 8 shots before the match starts. I had thrown 6 with urethane, and I had yet to hit the pocket. It was just bad. It was bad. Every shot was, I mean, maybe I threw a couple not so great, but the ball was not doing the correct thing whatsoever. It was not reading the correct part of the lane. And I'm talking with my ball reps, and I had to go grab a reactive ball. I get 2 shots of practice basically with this ball. They both split. So realistically, I was dead in the water. And just kind of started the game to where it was like, off those 2 splits, this is the adjustment I would make. Go for it. And, luckily it worked out for the most part. I bowled an okay game. Didn't end up winning, but I think that was a pretty big thing for me, really just trusting a big move to start a match and just, executing it and mentally believing whatever happens that, I can make another adjustment if needed or keep making good shots. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you play any other sports growing up or was it just bowling?
No, man, I played everything besides soccer. Soccer was the only sport I really didn't play. But I was super, super small when I was young. So I was limited on what I could do. I was a pretty good baseball player. Football obviously wasn't really too great for me because I was so small. But I played basketball, loved basketball.
Yeah.
I'm a huge golfer still, but was a big golfer. Yeah, I mean, I actually stopped bowling for 2 years prior to high school and would play traveling basketball. So that was pretty much my life for 2.5, 3 years. And I just never grew. So I decided I should probably go back to bowling.
Yeah, I saw you hooping in the Brian Kyle video.
Oh yeah, that was
You're
that
getting up there.
Yeah, you were getting up there.
Yeah, it was. I definitely couldn't do that starting my freshman year of high school. That's for sure. I was barely. Actually, I was not even 5 foot starting high school. So
Oh my
I
God.
was
How that feels?
I was a short kid. I think I may have been the smallest kid in my school at one point in time. It wasn't
How tall
the
are you
Now
now?
you're-
Like
now you're-
6'3"?
yeah I'm about 6'3", maybe a little less, maybe 6'2", but.
Does that make you feel better?
And now you're a gold medal winner on the Team USA, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, things kind of work out in mysterious ways, and maybe I was always meant to be a bowler, so they deterred my height growth until I started bowling again.
Yeah.
Dalton, you got to jump in there now. Don't be camera shy.
Trying to think of a question.
Anything, man. It doesn't even have to be bowling. You can ask me whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, what's a typical day like on tour? Because what we
Oh.
see on TV, it looks like it's great fun and, it's just bowling, playing, and happy. Is that really the way it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very dependent on who you kind of hang out with or who you group yourself with. So like the Brad and Kyle vlogs that you guys see, like that is truly how we are 24/7. And even when we're not together, like we constantly have a group chat going, we're messing with each other, we're having fun. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's obviously different for everyone because, some people are a little more, by themselves and they don't really hang out with too many people. They just kind of go in, do their thing, they bowl and they leave. But I think our generation, the guys that are in their mid to late 20s, we've all bowled so much together growing up that, we've just really become pretty good friends, and we all talk to each other pretty much, every time we see each other. Even if we're bowling, we're still, not obviously chatting it up, but we can still say hi to one another. Yeah, I mean, it's super fun. Obviously the group of guys I'm with makes it a lot easier to deal with traveling so much and being in, not, normal places, I guess you would say. It's out of your comfort zone to constantly be gone, but it makes it fun when, the guys, make it feel like home.
Do you have any like superstitions before you bowl?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not a real superstitious person.
Yeah.
You maybe just like if I'm on TV, maybe a little jersey change since I haven't won. But so I finally actually won a match on TV. So I don't know, maybe I'll keep wearing that jersey at least won a game. So, but yeah,
300 games.
for the most part, no.
What were you feeling when you shot 300?
It was pretty cool. Honestly, I wasn't too concerned about shooting 300. I was really just wanting to win the match. I mean, because I want to obviously keep my tournament alive. And once I got the first one, I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be pretty cool to shoot the 300. But once I got the first one, I kind of was like, I already won. I'm excited that I get to, no matter what happens here, I'm moving on. So it was odd because it was almost like the least nervous I've been for 300, just because like I knew there was nothing, like it wasn't like, oh,
Nothing to lose.
Yeah, you didn't strike, now your tournament's over. It was like, yeah, if I don't strike, I'm still moving on. So yeah, I mean, but obviously, after I struck, it was a pretty nice feeling.
Of course. So have you done any of the global stuff yet?
I have. I actually drilled quite a bit. I think there's only a couple that I haven't, but drilled a C4, drilled an Aspect, drilled the Reality, drilled a Zen.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, those would be the 4 that I've drilled.
Everybody's throwing the Zen right now. It
Yeah,
looks like.
I mean, they look really good. And I mean, haven't got to throw them too much just because the places we bowled, they just haven't been necessary. But the C4 I actually threw quite a bit down in Virginia for the players, the qualifying of it. That was really a good go-to ball for me after throwing urethane. Threw urethane on pretty much the first 3 patterns for a good chunk of it, and then I was able to go to the C4. So that one was a good one for me. But other than that, I mean, I like what I see out of the others. Just haven't got a lot of competition use with them yet.
How do you build a 6-ball bag or 7?
So I'm always having a plastic ball. I'm always traveling with a plastic ball. And it kind of depends on if I know what I'm bowling on or if I know the center I'm bowling at. That may sway some things. But if you're trying to go just generic, like that you can bowl, on whatever you come across with, I'm going plastic, and then I would probably have a urethane ball. And then, you want that big, strong ball for anything that's, they're super tight. You can't get your ball to hook. And then I usually have a strong angular ball. I usually have a medium smoothish ball, and then something a little on the weaker spectrum. So I have like a super strong, a strong pearl, kind of like that medium benchmark type ball, and then a medium to weaker pearl. So those are kind of my 4 reactive. And then I have urethane and spare would be kind of how I do it.
So you'll take like kind of like a dull, big, slow ASIM, and then like something big ASIM pearl, and then like symmetric pearl, something like that, and then you go to your.
So I don't throw too many ASIMs.
Right, I was gonna ask that.
Just because 2-handed rev rates and they just get blown up so quick, and how early those balls want to get offline. You just can't really throw them for too long. And for me, I just kind of see it as kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of a waste if I feel like I'm going to have to get out of it in 5 or 6 frames. I would rather just kind of be ahead of it.
So do you mean like you won't take like dull ASIM balls, but you'll take like ASIM pearls, but you won't take like dull big ASIMs?
I usually don't really take too many at all. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I hardly ever throw ASIMs unless they're like the really weak ASIMs, like physics, like Rubicons, this new Insight that's coming out. Like those are all really weak ASIMs to where they're almost symmetric. So those are kind of becoming a little bit more popular, and those ones I feel like I can use more of. But as far as like a proton physics or an RST, like, yeah, they roll really good. But if I have to get out of it in 4 or 5 frames, and then I have to ball change, and I'm wasting a couple frames in the middle of a game, especially if it's a game 1 where scores should be higher because you've gotten practice on the pair and you know exactly what the pair is doing, then I just don't really see a use for it. So I would rather have like a strong phase 2 or, like an idle that we've always thrown a lot of idols, something along those lines, where like an Axiom, where it's like a dollar symmetric that, if I need to add surface to, I can. But I know that I'm going to be able to shape those left to right a little bit more if I need to. So I don't have to ball change so quickly.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
How much would it be to if I DM'd you about reviewing my game?
Honestly, if it's just like a 1 video thing, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, if it's becomes like if you want to do it like a once a month thing, then, we could talk about, setting up some sort of deal there. But if it's just like a 1 video and I can, point out a few things, then I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll probably DM you after this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Chris, how do you attack a long pattern?
Oh man, I mean, it's a very open-ended question because not all long patterns play the same. So I think I think that's part of the open-mindedness that I was kind of speaking about earlier. As there's been long patterns where I've had to play really close together. There's been long patterns where I feel like I can't get it right of like 12 down lane. I have to keep it really close to head pin. There's some that I feel like don't feel like they're long patterns at all. So I think it's really more about paying attention to what your ball is doing and adjusting off of that, rather than looking at a piece of paper and saying, oh, this is 47 feet. I have to play close to a head pin, or I have to play a certain part of the lane. I was that way very much so when I started bowling tournaments, because I felt that was the correct thing to do. And that was that was what you were supposed to do. And it got me in trouble quite a bit, just because there would be a pattern that didn't play, how it should on paper, and somebody would bowl really well and be like, oh, that guy didn't play it correctly. He shouldn't have, scored well. I played it the right way and I didn't score well. So, yeah, I think it's more just paying attention to what your ball's doing and adjusting off that, rather than, looking at the pattern and saying, oh, this is how I have to play it.
So, like when we say go by the rule of 31, you don't really do that often, is what you're saying, basically?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's kind of like a general start point, but there's so many variables that go into it. It's really hard to say, because if you're bowling on a center that they have brand new lanes, that they're brand new Brunswick lanes, probably not going to hook very much. You may have to play them, not hooking as much. Or if you go to a really old AMF center that has, 25, 30-year-old lanes, they're going to hook a ton. So you may have to play it, a little further right than, or, your break point may need to be further away from the head pin than normal. But it could kind of get you in a general area.
Yeah, it's just like an idea where to play, right?
Yeah, kind of. But you still got to be, like I said, you still got to be open-minded, because you got to pay attention to kind of everything that's going on around you.
Gotcha. So if you could only throw one ball for the rest of your life on tour, what would that ball be?
That'd be a phase 2 for sure.
Yeah, I thought you would say that.
And that answer would be the same before, the TV show as well. It's just one of those balls that, you can.
That ball's been around for a while. Yeah, that's a great ball.
That's the only ball I can do good with.
So,
that and urethane.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, you can let them lane shine, and they're, they don't hook as early. You can put a ton of surface on them. They hook early. So yeah, you drill them strong, drill them weak. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many I've drilled, in the lifetime that ball's been out, but it's definitely a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, like growing up, did you experiment with a lot of brands, or did you like lean more towards one brand?
No, I kind of threw everything growing up. I didn't really know any better. I actually threw probably a decent amount of Columbia and Hammer, but it wasn't for any particular reason. It's just kind of like my dad was a really big Columbia 300 fan. So he had a lot of Columbia balls. So I guess I just kind of assumed those were the good ones, and that's kind of what I threw. But yeah, I threw a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because like down here, you see a lot of like the Brunswick EBI stuff, just because of the shops. Like there's a lot of McCorby's around here.
Yeah.
So that's what all you see.
Yeah, it is funny how it works that way, because there's certain areas in the country that are very heavily dominated by a certain brand.
Right.
Like Northeast Ohio is massive with Motive, because Brett Spangler lives up there. So obviously he's promoting it, he's getting it in people's hands. So Motive is massive up there. But you come down here, myself and Michael Tang have a pro shop now, and I think we've sold like 4 Motive balls in almost 2 years. So there's really just no interest in Motive.
What do you guys carry? Like, what's your wall?
Everything.
We have a lot of, pretty much everything. Obviously, we have a lot of Storm Roto. Now we're carrying more global stuff, but we have the newer Brunswick EBI releases as well. We don't have a massive shop, so it's hard to carry a ton. But we have, I mean, obviously we're going to push Storm and Roto, not necessarily push it, but those are the ones we know. We know they're good, so those are the ones we kind of suggest to people first. So that's what we have most of on the wall. But we do have people that are very loyal to Hammer. A lot of people like Hammer around us, so we definitely always carry those. And any of the new Brunswick releases we think are good balls that we'll throw up on the wall too.
Gotcha.
Yep, we're not too biased.
Chris, take just a minute and explain to them. I shared with them briefly when I spent time with you guys in Jonesboro and in Indianapolis about the procedure about the truck and how you're able to go and get the ball that you need, have it drilled up, specific tournaments, because a lot of times when what they don't see and what I've seen and had the experience to be around you guys is when you guys were leaving Indianapolis, a lot of the balls that you threw there at Indianapolis you didn't take with you, and that's the reason why these guys got some of the balls that I brought back, because you wasn't going to be using. Because at that point y'all were going to the World Series out in Vegas, and basically you took just a handful of stuff for you to practice with. But everything else, you guys were giving away and donating to, causes such as ours, and we certainly appreciate it. But explain to them how that works, because a little more in detail how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, can you guys hear my heater?
No, it's not a problem.
Okay. So obviously I can hear it quite loudly, so I just want to make sure it wasn't coming too bad. It's chilly up here, so we gotta stay warm.
It's cold here too.
Hey, it's chilly here. It's like
it's everywhere.
Like 40 degrees here.
It's snow tomorrow.
Oh, it's 28 degrees here.
28. Yeah, I think you guys may even be warm. Oh no, we're down to in the under 20 now. But yeah, to actually get back on topic here, the truck is obviously it's a really nice tool to have. They stock with all of the brands stock bowling balls on there for their players throughout the week. So they
I've seen the truck a lot on the blogs and stuff.
Yeah, so they can pretty much have whatever they need. And it actually was very useful for me when we were down in Florida for the TV show. I drilled a couple of balls, and one of them actually ended up being that phase 2 that I threw on TV. When we're
But you
flying.
drill your own balls.
No, you cannot use the presses on the truck. So that's kind of how some people make their living. We have a couple of guys that are employed to solely work on the truck, so that is like their job, and so they charge a fee for us to drill the balls on the truck. So it's not like it's completely free. The ball itself, I guess, would be free, but the drilling is not free. So it's it's a small fee to actually have access to you're in the hours and hours from home to be able to get a ball that you feel like you need.
So when you go on a tournament or whatever, you don't load the trunk of your car down with balls. You've got a whole truck. You carry the pro shop with you.
Yeah, we can. I mean, so some people do. I know EJ drove a lot. I don't know if he's still going to, but I know EJ drove a lot just so he could carry pretty much as many bowling balls as he wanted. But yeah, so like obviously most times we're flying to places, and when we're traveling, most of us have flown enough that we're able to get 2 free bags. Or if you fly Southwest, you can get the 2 free bags. So we'll use those 2, as for 6 balls, and that's pretty much what we come to tournaments with. And that's why I feel like the truck is so important, that we can drill more stuff if we need. And also they allow us to transport bowling balls from stop to stop as well. So we're allowed to keep 9 balls per player on the truck. And it's like a couple of bucks per ball for them to transport from one stop to the next. So it's a nice way to have, they're going to have, if you put all 9 on there, you know you have 9 down there, and then if you bring 6 more, all of a sudden now you're at 15. So that's obviously a lot of tools to have.
But you're not throwing brand new balls every time. That would be scary to walk in and have to throw all brand new stuff. It would scare me.
No. I feel like I'm pretty sure the only person that does that is Belmo, just because he has harder times getting balls in Australia, just because the shipping and all that is so outrageous and it takes forever. So any of like the new bowling balls that are released, they just wait until he flies in for a tournament to drill them for him. So he actually throws quite a few newer stuff, but at the same time, he also has balls on the truck, just like everyone else. So I mean, people do throw a lot of new stuff, and there's people that drill way more than others. I mean, some people don't like drilling on the truck just because, like you said, they don't really know what the ball is going to do.
Right.
But for the most part, we've all kind of figured out layouts that work for us and types of bowling balls that work for us that we can narrow it down to almost pretty specifically exactly what we're looking for. And so we're not really wasting bowling balls or wasting money on drilling them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice tool to have for sure. Dalton, you got a question down there yet, bud?
Do your fingers blister? Like mine is blistered really bad.
Yeah, I would go to your pro shop and make sure that your fit is a little bit better, because that should not happen. I mean, I can bowl as many games as humanly possible, and I never have any sort of issue. The only time I may have some issue is if I'm in Vegas for a really long time and my hands get super, super dry. But other than that, no, I never really blister. So
Are calluses bad?
Well, now, two.
No, I don't
Wait,
really.
wait, hang on a second. Now, Chris, these guys bowl like probably 20 games a day.
Yeah.
I mean, they're constantly in the bowling center, so that may be the reason why Dalton's hand is eat up, because, like I said, they don't take a day off, so that may be the reason why. Yeah, ever. They work in a bowling center and they bowl there. So.
Yeah. If you're bowling 120.
Do everything but sleep there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear you when you said if like are calluses bad or if not.
No, I don't really have any calluses.
No, I was asking like, is it bad? Like if you.
Oh, is it bad?
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends where. I mean, as long as it's not like busting open or anything like that, it shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. So is that like a pitch issue?
Yeah, a lot of one-handers have them on their thumbs, just from wear and tear of bowling that much and having constant pressure on it. They'll tend to get them, but it's more or less just from excessive use of that part of your hand. And the bad part is when you take a long period of time off and then going back through actually building the calluses again. That's the bad part.
Mm-hmm. So is that like a pitch issue in your fit, or?
It could be. Usually if you have any sort of tearing or any issue with your fingers, there's more pressure on one part of your finger than another. And so it typically is a pitch issue. Yeah.
So do you do anything to your pitches, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've figured them out to where, now I don't have any issues with my hand. I can bowl. We have bowled 28 games in the 2 days for the players, and they're long grinding days. And I felt fine. No issue, no pain. Definitely talk to the pro shop guy down there and try to see if you can figure out a solution to get some stress off that part of your hand, because obviously if you're bowling a ton, you want to be as fresh as possible, and going to tournaments and stuff like that, you want to make sure that there's nothing kind of hindering you or stopping you.
Have you ever like seen or been in like an argument at a tour stop?
Oh, I've definitely seen them. I'm not a very confrontational person whatsoever, so I don't think I'll be a part of one unless I really piss somebody off. But uh, yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen quite a few, but they really don't happen too often. Um,
Has there
typically,
ever been a fight?
No, surely not.
Surely.
not that I know of.
I was gonna
There
say
might
that'd be
but not that I know of. But typically, it's just like the older guys. That generation was a little more edgy on the lanes, and they get, perturbed about certain things that us younger generation we don't really care about. So
Yeah.
no
So-
WWE brawl is broken out yet.
So do you ever take a day off, or do you bowl every single day of your life?
No, I take plenty of days off. I'm working.
When you go back to bowling after a day off, do you have to start all over from scratch, learning to bowl and stuff?
No, I feel like I've done enough bowling over my my period of time to where I know kind of the basics that I want to work on and the basics that I want to keep. So those are kind of the first things I work on when I go back into if I've taken a couple of days off or something like that, just making sure timing's correct. I'm getting the ball into the swing at the right time, and make sure my swing's straight and body position's okay. And then just kind of go from there. Yeah, just kind of start from the ground up.
Well, they're fussing at me for asking because they want to bowl every single day, and they think if they take a few days off, that it's going to affect their games.
it just
Yeah.
gets really awkward for me personally. If I take a few days off and I come back, my timing and stuff, everything just feels awkward.
I bowl better off of breaks.
Yeah, you just got to find something that kind of triggers your brain into kind of getting into that same timing, whether it be a tempo thing, whether it be you know a certain feel in your body position when the swing starts, and just kind of get that embedded into your brain to where if you do take a couple of days off, that's the first thing you think about, and that's the first thing you're working on. So it gets that back into the swing of things right away, rather than trying to figure out why you're not throwing it very good for an hour and a half.
All right. So did you have a pretty good youth career? Like, did you win a lot?
It was all right. Like I said, I kind of started a little later tournament wise than most, but I still feel like I still feel like I bowled pretty successfully in a kind of a short period of time. We have what they're called JTBAs here, which are basically like youth traveling tournaments that are bowled on sport patterns. They're hard to win because there's a lot of really good bowlers here in Ohio. But I won a few of those. I think I won Player of the Year one year.
Wow.
I won the North Point, which before North Point joined Junior Gold, it was actually two separate tournaments. I won the North Point part of it. I actually won Youth USBC team event. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have won some fairly large tournaments as a youth. Then obviously being a part of the Youth Team USA, we won gold in Worlds over in Thailand. That was probably the highlight of the youth career for sure.
When it comes to going on tour, how important do you think like college coaching is?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it is big, but at the same time, like it's not everything. So I think you got to find a good combination when you're looking at colleges about education and bowling, because the academics are just as important, if actually probably more important than the bowling. Like I said, I had an accounting degree from Notre Dame, and now I own a pro shop. So we're saving money by not paying an accountant. I'm doing the accounting for the pro shop. So it does pay off. obviously, even though I am still bowling full time, I'm still using my degree. So, and like I said, it's not the most glamorous lifestyle on tour. We make it really fun, and it's not like we're sitting there, rubbing pennies together to try to eat lunch or anything like that. But it is something that there are quite a few people that have other jobs as well, and so it is important to be able to get the academics straight and make sure that that's going the right direction as well.
So did you get a business degree?
No, he said he got accounting.
Yeah, I got a accounting degree. Yep.
Counting? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Any questions? That's what I open them.
When you went to college, you went for accounting. Did you have a plan in your head? I'm going to bowl and I'm going to open a pro shop.
No, I had zero intentions of becoming a professional bowler when I went to college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was always my dream as a kid to become a professional bowler. And then when I grew up, it just kind of seemed like, I knew the lifestyle, the tour wasn't in the greatest state. There wasn't a lot of tournaments to bowl. There's kind of a lot of people stopping bowling the tour just because there was no consistency and it wasn't going in the right direction. So it kind of, I matured a little bit and kind of looked at it, and it's like, the direction the PBA is going right now, it's not very good. It doesn't seem like it would be a wise career decision to go that direction. So I went with full intentions of bowling in college, and after that, basically just being done and getting a full-time accounting job somewhere, and basically just kind of starting the normal work life. But once I got out of college, I think the old normal work life kind of hit me, and it's like, I don't know if that's my thing. So I talked with my parents. They were kind enough to let me stay at home for a little while, and I told them I wanted to at least try to bowl. And I had some money had saved up, and I pretty much told them, I said, once I either run out of this, I'm just going to stop, or if I keep bowling well, I'm going to try to keep bowling as long as I can. And it was really just weekend tournaments. It was kind of local stuff, basically the bigger amateur tournaments around the country. And I kept bowling well, made some money, and I kept going the right direction. So I did that for almost 2 full years before I decided that I should just go ahead and try the tour. So I bowled a lot of amateur stuff and just kind of worked locally until I decided to go full time.
So how do you go about getting on staff with brands? Do they come to you, or do you have to go to them?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most commonly asked question I get, and there's really no answer to it. Obviously, if you're bowling well and you're making a name for yourself, and you're successful, and you're not acting like an idiot on the lanes, and you're respectful, and there is more to it than just bowling, right? The ultimate job of a staffer is to sell bowling balls. Like, that is the whole reason that you're on staff, is to promote the company that you're on staff with and to help that company sell more bowling balls. So basically, however you can show value in that is the easiest way to get on staff, whether it be through bowling really well, whether it be through social media, whether it be, some sort of marketing, working in a pro shop. There's multiple ways that players get on staff. It's not all about, just your performance on lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think
Dalton,
for like
you got-
a
you
newer
got question
bowler?
down there, Dalton.
Go ahead.
I was like, Dalton, you need to come up with a question down there, man. You're awful quiet. This is the quietest
Chris,
this guy
how do you roll?
ever is, Chris. He is.
Yeah, this is not normal
Yeah.
for Dalton. Are you okay? If he were here, he wouldn't be quiet.
Yeah. I know all about that. I'm a pretty introverted person. Doing what I've been doing for the last several years now, I've had to kind of mold into a bit of an extrovert just from working for Storm, or working now at the pro shop that I have. Just being in the public eye a little bit more, having to become more of an extrovert, or making speeches and all that stuff. Not my comfort zone by any means, but just got to work through it. It'll be all right.
Well, all these guys bowl in high school against each other, and then they're the best of friends, and I mean they of course they bowl in the P4YT tournaments that we have, and Tennessee Road to the Go, GYBT, all this stuff that, Chris, you and I were talking about before they come on.
Yeah.
And so that it's just odd that Dalton's the quiet one this time. He's usually
all these
the
guys
ringleader
bowl
and
against
everything,
each
so.
other and cheer for each other all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's great. I love it. I love the way it works. At tournaments, at high school tournaments, Sparkman was at state, Huntsville was at state. Of course, we never got to bowl against each other. It could have gotten there, but it didn't. But we stayed to watch Sparkman win, cheered for them. We're happy for them. Had their pictures made with Sparkman. They're not a part, but they're friends. They're all friends. All the schools, they're all opposing, but they're all, at the end of the day, and during the day, they're all friends. So I don't know if every sport is that way, but I love that bowling is. Is it that way where you're at your level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was kind of saying earlier, my generation is more that way. Definitely not everyone on tour is that way by any means, but it's a little different, obviously, because you're bowling for a living, and it's a little more cutthroat, of course, but you kind of got to have kind of that dual. It's almost kind of like a dual personality type deal, where you start bowling like it needs to kind of be like, this is competitive. You're bowling for a living, because realistically, you're not really out there to make friends. Like you're out
right.
there.
To make a living.
It's your job, yeah.
Yeah, you're out there to make a living. It's your job. You're there to perform. So that's.
But you're all together, so you got to get along.
Yeah, so that's first and foremost, and then once you leave the bowling center, it kind of all goes out the window, and that's where you see a lot of us having a lot of fun together and staying in nice Airbnbs together and making videos, and basically we're making memories that we all still remember for years and years now. So it is a little different, of course. When you're bowling your actual tournament or bowling the block, you're not looking down a few lanes and cheering for somebody. Like you're obviously much more focused on yourself, but you talk about what happened afterwards, and if somebody bowled well, you're obviously happy for them. You congratulate them, you cheer them on the TV show if they're on the TV show. But if you're bowling, it's a little different, of course.
And then you go hang out at Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Sometimes.
And then you go back to bowl after.
That's where we hung out at, and
Jonesboro, yeah.
Chili's.
Yeah, Jonesboro. We went to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings, and then the next day, you guys sitting at the table, chit chatting, eating and talking, and then the next day they were bowling against each other, throughout the tournament, and then went back the next night to Buffalo Wild Wings and ate again and chit chatted again. So it's just like being at your favorite bowling mom's house. I think there's one time you had 15 bowlers over there at your house or something, and trying to.
I look
fix
back at
pizza or
pictures,
something
and there
like
were guys in the pictures that I didn't remember were even here.
She's a unique.
Yeah, after tournaments, everyone just kind of comes here, and we all hang out and stuff.
That's awesome. That's a good atmosphere to have.
Mhm.
That's why she's your favorite bowling mom. All right, guys. Dalton, you got anything? We're gonna wrap this thing up in about 7 minutes. He's got some stuff he's got to do. So you will chime in one more time.
When are you
Don't
going to
let
make your own YouTube channel?
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
I
There
don't,
you go.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. I'm busy enough as it is with the shop and all that stuff. So just for me to kind of get some of those videos to put on the house page
That's
is
what the Chris.
that's enough work for me.
Chris Vaughn.
Here's your favorite bowling Dan.
This is the favorite
How are
bowling
you,
dad.
Chris?
How are you?
He got food.
I just got back from Taco Bell.
Oh, get me anything?
Feed his crew.
Nice.
Chris said, did you get him anything?
Sure, man. Come on.
All right, I'll be there in just I don't know, 8 or 9 hours.
There you go. We'll keep it fresh.
All right.
Before we go, Chris and I were talking, and you want to let them in on what we got coming up in May, or you want me to?
Yes.
It's up to you, man. You know a little more about it than I do.
Okay, May the 22nd, we are going to be in Hermitage, Tennessee, for the P4YT tournament. And if things all go as planned, our special guest will be Chris Vi. So he'll
Well,
be
that'd be
coming and
great,
hanging out with you guys, and
You'll get to see me win.
chit chatting in the pit, and throwing out the first ball, and just hanging out with you guys, doing pictures and everything. So you guys have been wanting a two-hander, so there you are. So
I got one more
got your
question. before we
two-hander
have to
coming,
go.
possibly.
That's cool.
Go ahead.
So, Chris, like, how do you calm your nerves in tournaments or on TV? Anything you do?
Yeah. Honestly, just making sure that you're hydrated, you got some water. Make sure you take deep breaths. I mean, that's probably kind of really the two things that you can do. I think.
Do you listen to music?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're actually bowling, not so much, of course, but beforehand, a lot of people listen to music to kind of calm down. But I think it's natural to be nervous. Kind of that nervous, excited feeling. It's just working on controlling it and making sure that you're a little more focused on the actual bowling part of it than thinking about how nervous you are.
Got you.
Yeah, that was a good
Thank you
one.
so
Before
much
you go,
Thank you.
for chatting with us.
Okay.
I really appreciate you doing this. I really appreciate you spending your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
before you go, tell them real quick about winning the gold for USA, for Team USA, and then give them a little pep talk on how important it is to stay in school and continue studying, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah. So I was actually fortunate enough to win the gold medal for Team USA twice. I did it once as a youth and once as an adult. Uh-oh. I think we tried to work.
There was a Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's Taco Bell hitting already.
He's getting nice.
There's only been it's been fortunate enough to do that. So it's kind of a pretty cool feeling to be a part of such a small group that has, got the team world gold as a youth and adult. So it's really sweet. I mean, just to, kind of that ideal feeling is being up on the podium, getting the gold medal put around your neck, standing there with your teammates and hearing the national anthem play.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically our Olympics. So it's kind of the equivalent of what you would think, that would feel like. And, it's a pretty surreal feeling. And, that 2 minutes of, listening to the anthem is, something that you'll remember forever. And I've just always been a really big fan of team bowling. I think that's kind of what we've been brought up on, is a lot more team bowling than individual bowling. So anytime that I can compete with a team, and especially obviously representing your country, it's a really, really cool feeling. And, I'm, very fortunate to have done it multiple times, and very fortunate to be successful at doing it. So, maybe again down the road I'll be able to do it again. But yeah, as far as the team I guess that kind of translates into the college bowling as well. That team environment that, those days are super, super long. So to be able to be with your teammates and kind of keep each other up and keep each other mentally there is super important. So, those long days can get very tiring bowling, but to be able to, come out on top or just, have fun doing it. I still have a group chat of guys that I bowled college with, and two of them are guys I only bowled a year with, so it's been 2010. Oh, wow. So it's been about 11 years since I started college bowling, and I'm still talking to these guys day to day. So,
Are they still bowling?
they don't bowl anymore. No, they don't bowl anymore. I mean, they bowl, just league, but they have full-time jobs that they work day to day. So it's, it's really special that, we still have those friendships that even though we've kind of gone separate, our separate ways throughout, our careers or our lives, that we've still been able to stay in touch. And, so that's another thing about college is building relationships, not only with bowlers or coaches or anything like that, but just those relationships that you never know what could come from them. And, now I have lifelong friends that, we're living kind of all over the place now, but we still stay in touch, and we know, if anything ever happens to anyone or if anything positive or negative, we're all going to be there for each other. So it's a pretty cool feeling for sure.
All right. Well, thanks again for chatting with us. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Gary, for getting Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out, and thank you very much for having me.
Can't wait to meet you in May.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'll definitely be DMing you some videos of me. So
all right. No
Instagram.
promises I'll get back to it tonight, but I will get back to it.
Oh no, I completely understand. Yeah.
All right.
It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. The single guy in me is not too excited about that Valentine's Day, but
Sorry about that.
yeah. No, you're good.
Well, all right, guys. Dalton, I'm going to let you say goodbye, and I'll let you out. And appreciate you coming on, man. Hope you didn't work too hard today. So I'll be seeing you in the next couple of weekends, bringing you guys some stuff. So I'll let you say goodbye, Dalton.
Well, have a good night.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
Thanks a lot, Dalton. We'll see you, buddy.
Bye.
All right, you guys gonna say bye, or y'all just heading out?
Yeah,
See ya.
Chris.
Best of
Appreciate
luck
it again.
at the stops coming up.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much.
Yep.
All righty, guys. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy your Taco Bell. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all.
Take care.
Well, that wasn't too bad.
No, it went good.
Dalton is he's kind of the ringleader. I'm surprised. He may have had to work hard today. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but those are your four. The other guy, he's a new guy. He's just coming on. So, but those are the four out of the 6 two-handed bowlers that we deal with over here at the Rolex Youth Academy.
Nice.
So, and those are the guys that, basically got, most of your stuff was those guys right there, because that's the upper tier, the upper level guys that we have. Dalton, he actually won the Pepsi regional last weekend. And then the boy that was basically in the center, that's the older brother. He came in like 4th. The younger brother came in 2nd.
Awesome.
And then, like I said, that other guy, he just started. So, and then Cole, he came in like 5th. He actually won the thing last year, but he just had an off day Saturday, and you have that. But and then the other guy, he's a new guy too. So, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on and being a part, and just being a mentor, to these guys, because it's not always about bowling, and these guys need to understand that not everybody's going to be like you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was
that
in
they're
that same
going
boat for a while.
That they need to get an education. Yeah, they need to get an education, and like you said, have something to fall back on. I mean,
100%.
It's our hope and prayer that you have a long career, but one day that it's going to come to an end, and you've got something to fall back on. Whether it's pro shop work where you have 2, 3, a dozen, or you go into the secular world and be an accountant for a big firm or something. See, you've already got that made. So, but I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming in. And we'll talk May the 22nd.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you can make it and everything. So what's next for you guys before I let you go? So they finished the taping of the show today. The live show's next week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go back to Florida, correct?
Yeah.
For the
so Sunday we fly
back
down
to Jupiter. Is that correct?
Sunday we fly down to Jupiter. All the regional winners have to bowl the PTQ on Monday for the TOC. Then the rest of the TOC is that week. Then we have a week off.
Okay.
And then we go to Tampa for the World Series. So those are the next two
Tampa.
stops.
Okay, so Tampa. Okay, and then from there you're looking at Vegas. Is that what we said for the World Series?
From there, it's like another week off, and then we have 2 weeks that we're in Reno for the Masters and
Reno.
The US Open.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Does that look like that's going to happen? Because I know USBC just canceled their what is it? What is that? USA team?
Oh yeah, the youth program thing.
The youth tournament, that youth program. Yeah, they canceled that. Did they not?
I'm not sure, but I know they just announced to us that we are going to be required a negative COVID test now. So I do believe it is all going to happen, but there's going to be some more kind of protocol, kind of like what they did with the women. I don't know if there's going to be a bubble like there was with the women, but I know we do have to have a negative COVID test as proof. And then I believe we're going to have to test when we get there as well. So going to be a little bit more restrictive.
Well,
but
right.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Well, I know you guys, and I'll leave you with this. I know you guys like to stay in your, in the house that you guys do, but if they require a bubble and you guys get the bowl and you have to stay in the bubble, then at least you're getting to compete and getting to do what you love to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's a sacrifice you got to make.
Exactly. Well, sir, I appreciate your time. Once again, congratulations. I see the big check hanging on the wall. I hope you haven't spent it all in one place.
No.
I hope you, as they said in that movie, I don't know if you saw the Will Ferrell movie, Semi-Pro, when the guy made the shot in half court and won a big check.
The big check department. Got to find a bank with the big check department.
Exactly. But I appreciate everything that you've done for me in Jonesboro and in Indianapolis. You're seeing the fruits of what you've given. These kids are bowling well. They've got a couple of bags that you gave me. They've got them. It's like I said, a couple of balls. They've got them. They all come from you. They thank me all the time. Thank you for doing what you do, and so I appreciate it. Like I said, it's no fame and glory for me. I'm just trying to give back for all that Sierra was given.
Yeah.
And we had 12 offers, and so I'm just trying to help these kids in any way possible. And I appreciate you wanting to be a part. And I look forward to the day when this is all over. And I told AJ, I talked to him earlier today. I said, we've already missed 2 get-togethers, and that's Jonesboro and Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So I look forward to the day when this is all back and over, and I can come down and hang out and watch you guys bowl and chat, and
absolutely
get back to a little bit of normalcy in life,
Yeah.
So
we're looking forward to it just as much.
Well, sir. Well, listen, thank you once again. Safe travels. We'll be watching. We'll be cheering you on from here in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'll text you, touch base with you, and let us know how you're doing out in Vegas, or excuse me, Reno as well. I'm going to get you to Vegas before it's over with. I mean,
I'll end up there.
I keep saying Vegas.
Yeah, I'll end up there eventually.
I understand. All right, Chris. Thank you, sir. Have a great night, and we'll be seeing you on TV. Okay, sir.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks for having me again. Take care.
All right. Take care, brother. We'll talk about May whenever it gets closer. Thank you again.
Absolutely. We'll see you.
See you, brother.